In the year 2000, The Ultimate Christmas Present premiered on Disney Channel, and despite having a clearly modest budget, it's still ranked by many millennials as a modern holiday classic. And in retrospect, it's not hard to see why. Following a naughty 13-year-old who steals Santa's weather machine to get out of school, this movie presented a unique story that was also ahead of its time, with a decidedly cynical perspective on how the internet age would impact our quality of life, and an all-too relevant allegory for runaway climate change. The Ultimate Christmas Present feels smart, yet it's still able to transport us back to a simpler time where happiness was just a little more effortless, like it's that very last Christmas before the onset of childhood depression. But don't go off your meds just yet, because like most media from the early 2000s, there are aspects of the movie that haven't followed us into adulthood quite as effectively as our mental illnesses. With shoddy character motivations, some distractingly bad acting, and a habit for putting women and girls into unadvisable situations, it's time to unwrap the ultimate Christmas present in this hard candy holiday installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we break them up into small, giftable clips and decide if it's a new toy or a pair of socks. This is truly one of the Disney Channel original movies that I remember loving the most growing up. It gave me all of the Christmas Yuletide feelings, and upon rewatching, it's not bad, but unfortunately, like most things that I liked as a child, not quite as good as I thought back then either. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more Disney Channel clip breakdowns. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when I've stolen an environmental weapon out of Santa Claus's trash can and I'm ready to threaten society. Which is exactly what our main character, Allie, intends to do in this film, all because she sucks at doing homework. Oh, also I have merch and a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus episodes and virtual watch parties. But anyway, let me take you to the world of Hollywood, as shot in Toronto, Canada. That means the movie starts with 2 or 3 clips of stock footage showing the Hollywood sign and Santa Monica Boulevard before seamlessly sliding us into the Great North. Here we go. For a suburban street, this seems unusually active for a weekday morning. Like, it is fully just Thursday, December 21st, and people are taking to the streets like President Truman just declared the war is over. Why did those 4 adults take a whole day off just to drive recklessly in their Christmas convertible? I hope you scotch taped those illegal exterior decorations to your car real good, or you're gonna cause a pileup 3 seconds after getting on the highway. But that's just how the holidays are in Los Angeles, dude. No snow, no school, and no street safety. Just one potted palm tree, unrelated reggae music, and roaming gangs of child actors running into traffic. Yes, children, don't look either way before crossing the street. We've only got Johnny Impromptu Parade driving around with Garland. Our main character, Allie, is seen watching the news where a very bumbling and dull-sounding meteorologist is rambling on about how the weather is going to be the same, sunny and warm all week. Allie's parents clearly seem very busy trying to juggle work and her little brother and her life, but it's not quite as hectic as we've seen in other movies where they're doing this trope of the busy family. So Allie's best friend Sam crosses the street and Allie spills the tea on all the good news that's coming from her regarding her crush Blake. Sam is played by Brenda Song, whose character is so one-dimensional in this movie that it almost seems like she has the same crush on Blake as Allie does, just because she's not enough of an individual person to feel that way about someone different.
Blake's party's at 4 o'clock on Christmas, and I told him we'd be there a couple of hours early so we can help decorate. That way we can spend a couple hours with him before anyone else gets there.
What kind of 13-year-old throws a party at 4 p.m. on Christmas Day? Most of the kids in her class are gonna be out of town visiting their grandparents, not attending a singles mixer at Blake's house like desperate adults who want someone to kiss on New Year's Eve. Speaking of desperate, of course Allie here was the first one to RSVP. She said 4 p.m. Great, we'll be there at 2 to help hang streamers in your parents' computer room. I'd be like, no, you can just come at the time that I invited you. I mean it, don't show up early or you could ruin my older brother's surprise return from the military. I mean, the whole family already knows he's coming back, but we agreed that surprise return sounds a lot better than dishonorable discharge for drunken behavior. Anyway, can't wait for you to meet him, but we just need a couple hours to make sure he's still a happy drunk after all of that battle trauma. You can tell that this movie was right on the forefront of the digital age. That's why you hear a dial-up modem in the background, and the dad works on websites and computers.
A website that sells dog bones?
Exactly.
Dad, do you really think people want to buy dog bones over the internet?
Oh, they will when they learn we have over 100 varieties to choose from.
If you say so, Dad, because otherwise we dug up the pet cemetery and grave robbed 100 dog skeletons for no reason. I'm just saying, was there any market research done to ensure that there are people as obsessed with stolen animal bones as you are? Because if not, all you have is one really specific domain name. Oh, one thing you should know about this movie that I didn't realize as a kid is that for some reason, about 90% of the dialogue is delivered by people talking on a cordless phone, especially when it's coming from Allie's Lizzie McGuire mom or the dad who you can tell wants to try stand-up.
Sorry, Dad.
And don't forget what time of year it is. Santa might find out. My flight's delayed.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry.
Give me a chance to eat some delicious airport food.
I assume that's code for sucking dick in the bathroom at Chili's to go. I'm sure he loves his wife, but the sarcasm and theatrical eye rolls let me know he might be the kind of dad who likes to make the Yuletide gay on his business trips. You know what I mean? And I'm not judging. Airport bathroom hookups are the only reason you see so many gay guys traveling on Instagram. How else are you gonna make an Uber ride to the airport feel worth it? But just remember to put in your order for chicken crispers beforehand. That way it's ready to go in case they call your gate unexpectedly. This holiday travel tip has been brought to you by Johnny Downlow Bathroom Stalls, with the widest gaps and highest floor clearance in the industry. A main element of this story will eventually be that the family is so busy they barely have time to spend together. However, we never see them do any of these busy things. They're basically stuck in the house the whole time. The only sign is that the mom is struggling to create their schedules for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which inadvertently just makes the holidays seem like it's not that big of a deal to them.
I'll be back tomorrow morning.
So tomorrow night, we should definitely get together and discuss our schedules for Christmas Day.
We'll be done by 2, right?
We've got to be. That's when my basketball tournament starts.
Basketball tournament, that is, once again, such a strange activity to have scheduled on a government holiday. Can someone call his coach to make sure the other kids weren't lying to him about the date because of how bad he is at running? Again, this movie shows each of the Thompsons talk about Christmas like it's the most important day of the year. And it's like, okay, then why did you schedule your mole biopsy for 11 a.m. that day, mama? You've been watching that thing grow irregularly all year long, so unless it's affecting your ability to cook and bake, I think you can reschedule until the 28th. Thank you. If the movie were to be made today, I don't think some of these gender roles would be done quite the same. For example, the dad works in technology while the mom is a caterer in the kitchen, gossiping on the phone nonstop. So anyway, dad has to go on a business trip to San Francisco. And as you can tell from all of the people we saw outside, they're really trying to push it that LA doesn't get snow. They don't have a white Christmas. And that somehow makes it the most unique place on earth. But they act like it's the summer. They're like wearing bathing suits and tanning. It's like, that's still gonna be 50 degrees in the morning, sweetheart. They also really want us to know that Allie here is naughty. She's not exactly good with doing schoolwork. She loves to prank people, but by modern standards, she seems like a great kid. However, she has not started her English paper, which is like a creative writing story, and it's gonna be due tomorrow, 5 pages. She's busy dating daydreaming when the teacher calls her out and asks what her paper is going to be about. And in a scene that almost perfectly replicates the one from Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz, Allie starts improvising the plot of this story that she hasn't written yet and talks herself into a corner because now she's gonna have to write that same story overnight.
To come up with a plan to get out of doing this paper at all costs. Hi, Blake.
Can you guys still come to my Christmas party?
Yeah. Like I said, we'll come over early so we can help decorate.
And like I said, nobody asked you to do that. In fact, I wanted you to come after the party to handle the cleanup, but you assumed I was inviting you as a guest and I kind of felt bad. If you show up 2 hours early, I will lock the door and watch from my mom's bay window while you freeze to death. I don't care. I'm someone who's like, even if it's the holidays, you better not come to my door. I will take it as a threat. You can't just show up to my house unannounced like some sort of murderer. I don't care if it's a children's choir ringing my doorbell and singing Christmas carols. This isn't Dickensian England, children, so I consider you to be a religious cult attacking my home, and that's why my guard dogs will be attacking you right now. Jingle bells, holly, sick 'em. So in another spoken but never shown example of how busy these kids are, Allie is like, so now I have to write this paper and get a Christmas present and be home by 4 for some reason. So she's like, my brother always takes this shortcut, let's go. And to me, I'm like, you've lived in LA your whole life and this is some random new shortcut you learned from your little brother? I don't buy it. Let alone the fact that they no longer even try to make Toronto look like LA after this. The girls are pedaling their bikes and it's clear Allie has gotten them lost because they're going much longer than the shortcut should have taken, and they end up seeing this new home that is brand new to their eyes.
Whoa, what? That? What a weird little house.
When you say weird and little, do you mean normal and regular size? Or is this just another example of a low-budget fantasy movie whose production design doesn't quite match what the characters are saying? It kind of requires you to suspend your disbelief, like when you're watching a play, because Disney Channel will have characters being like, wow, we're here on an alien planet. I've never seen anything like it. And it's just the outside of an office building with the Canadian flags taken down. Like, okay, I guess. But whatever. The cabin is whatever. But since there are 0 evergreen forests in all of Los Angeles, I'm more impressed that these two girls just rode their bikes either up a mountain or through a magical wardrobe. And in either case, I will be having them investigated by the anti-doping agency because both situations sound like drugs were involved. Being the naughty lister, Allie is like determined to go spy on this new creepy house that they found. And then she's just like, I guess, doing mischievous / rude stuff for the of it. I gotta be honest, I had not remembered that she's supposed to be like on the naughty list at this point in rewatching the movie. So this whole suggestion felt really random and out of character. After seeing her be so nice and loving to her parents and them not saying anything about her having behavioral issues.
There's some old guy inside, building something. What will you give me if I ding-dong ditch?
Ding-dong ditch? Girl, is this the kind of shit you're doing instead of finishing that English paper? Because that was such a weird idea to have in such an already weird scenario. Like, Allie, do you not know how to write? Please, sweetheart, you have to try harder in school because ringing the doorbell will frustrate that old man for like 1 minute. But bad written communication will frustrate everyone you text or email for the rest of your life. And trust me, it gets to be very popular in the coming years. And if you really mess up a word, the whole group chat will roast you. Like a couple weeks ago when I found out that penis isn't spelt with a PH. I was getting it confused with the name Steven, probably because I had an imaginary friend as a child named Steven Penis, and she spelled it with a PH. Penis, that is. She spelled Steven with a V. Whoa. I feel like I just heard myself explain why so many people block my number after the first date. But it's okay because at least we have each other. Sorry, I'm talking to Steven Penis. She's right behind the camera, exposing her razor sharp teeth and telepathically communicating with her bloody eye sockets. No, Steven Penis, I demand you sign the book of the devil. Now stop trying to make me laugh. I have to finish this video. It's the adventures of Nick and Steven Penis. miss. So for zero reason, after trying to use it to manipulate Sam into writing her report, Allie goes to ring the doorbell and the old man comes storming out of the cabin with this piece of machinery, like it kind of looks like a mini air fryer, and he's angry, frustrated, and cursing the machine, and he throws it into the trash can. And this intrigues Allie, who wants to know instantly what's in that can, man. So she digs out the machine and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, well, it's clearly a clock radio, but you know, kids are curious, so they had to take it home. I don't condone this type of behavior either. Not only because she's taking something that doesn't belong to her, but also you can't go digging through the trash, touching the things that strange forest hermits have thrown away. You might get a lightly used mini air fryer, or you might get a homemade bomb. So you gotta use discretion. Anyway, Sam and Allie both take the machine back up to their room after we hear the little brother named Joey complaining about how the uncle is coming over for Christmas and he smokes cigars, but he's excited to see his grandparents. There is a queer-coded assistant, like from Gilmore Girls, helping assist the mom with her catering, which is obviously super busy right now because of all of the Christmas parties going on. And then the magic of the movie is introduced, and I was caught off guard by how ordinary the two girls seem to think this is. They turn a knob on the machine and it creates a storm cloud in the room and rains down on them. And then they twist another knob and lightning strikes the lamp behind them. Their reaction is basically like, this is so cool. I would be like terrified by the physical impossibility of it all, but whatever. Cool kids. I guess they're just too cool to be scared of the laws of physics being changed.
Are you wrapping my Christmas present? Let me guess, you got me a football. No. I know you got me a poster of the Laker girl.
As a pre-sexual child, you shouldn't even want to objectify women yet. And why would your sister knowingly give you a Christmas gift that you're going to learn to masturbate to? No poster, no poster. Messing around with other buttons on the machine, the girls cause a minor earthquake and then snow. That's what gives Allie the brilliant idea to put the machine outside because her cousins who live in Boston said they sometimes get so much snow that school is canceled. And if they get a snow day the next day, that will extend into Christmas vacation and Allie will have another 2 weeks to write her paper. I think it probably took more effort for her to come up with that plan than it would have to just write the 5-page story that she's already outlined out loud. They manufacture some tension in here, like when the mom almost discovers this machine when she's yelling at Allie for flooding the bedroom, even though she doesn't even ask why. There are so many times in this movie where they'll be like, how did this unusual, impossible, potentially dangerous thing happen? And Allie would be like, it's a long story. It's like, well then start talking, I need to know, I'm your mom. So the girls put the machine outside, but it doesn't start snowing instantly. So Sam's like, well, at least you tried. It was a good idea. I'm like, how is it a good idea? It doesn't even sound plausible, but whatever. Let's now jump to what's happening at the same exact time in the North Pole. We have Mrs. Claus, and she gets a call from Santa. That man in the cabin is revealed now to be Santa. And he's like, I've lost the weather machine. And she's like, it's okay, we're gonna find it. Oh, but this call only happens after 2 of the elves come in and pitch Mrs. Claus on a new idea.
Say goodbye to the old North Pole and hello to the new. I know what you're thinking, Mr. C. Crumpet, what about tradition? Won't the public be disappointed with the fact that Santa has entered the digital age?
I was thinking that your acting has the same wooden, unrealistic quality as whenever a professional athlete makes a cameo on some children's show.
Man, this ship is awesome. Yeah, I just saw a toilet with a drink holder.
So the 2 elves who just walked in and presented this are named Crumpet, who's on the right side of the screen, and Sparky on the left, who's played by Bill Fagerback, who is also the voice of Patrick on SpongeBob SquarePants. They make the nonsense argument that they might as well automate Santa's workshop since half of the things people know about elves are already false. That logic literally doesn't connect, but okay.
People still think we're 3 feet tall and have squeaky little voices.
What do you think, Mr. C?
I think it's the worst idea I've ever heard.
It was such a bad idea that it nearly blew her platinum wig off. Oh no, it's just really far back on her head. Also, this wouldn't be television if Santa Claus weren't played by a 68-year-old man while married to a Mrs. Claus played by someone who's just barely past her mid-40s. They said, we can't cast a woman with real wrinkles or gray hair, as Mrs. Claus. She's like the only creature who lives in the North Pole, aside from the snowmen that you put boobs on. That's when Santa calls in a panic, explaining that he's lost the machine, and trying to help manage the situation, Mrs. Claus is like, you know what, I'll send 2 elves to help you, Doopy and Doopy, and he's like, no, you can't send my best ones, send Crumpet and Dumpet, they suck. So that's how she agrees to let these 2 kind of forward-thinking, yet slightly dopey elves take on the all-important task of finding this weather machine and saving the planet.
I didn't poke him, I petted him.
No, you poked him like this.
Hey!
Hey, back.
What you always...
Boys.
You know, I was just gonna ask if you think Crumpet and Sparky have ever explored each other's bodies, but there's your answer. They don't even wait until after work. They do it right in front of their boss. That is my favorite Christmas song, by the way. Oh, the elves have sex with each other in the North Pole. Yes, they do. Wait, is that even a real song? Or did I just take another one of my private theories and set it to a melody? Damn it, I promised myself I would start figuring that part out before I sing the song out loud. I accidentally came out of the closet singing what I thought was a new single from Celine Dion. So, as they are sort of afraid of reindeer, and they couldn't afford live animals, the 2 elves unveil their sport utility vehicle, or sleigh utility, sleigh, a motorized sleigh, or as we call it here in the human world, a car, and they use it to go off to the human world down south. That night, Allie is still not writing her paper. I'm like, girl, you're really counting on some magic snowfall right now, aren't you? Because it is desert dry outside. The dad calls and questions her about why her room was soaked. She says it was a long story. I'd be like, that better be body fluid, or you're like playing water balloons in the bedroom. You better hope you dried up that wall-to-wall carpeting really well, because we cannot afford to have someone come in and clean up more black molds from this house. Try and take shallow breaths in there from now on. There are these 2 subplots that feel very like glossed over and forgettable. One being Sparky and Crumpet running out of gas and landing in the middle of the woods, so they kind of have to trek on foot to find Allie, which I think they could have gone back to a few more times and given us funny situations of these fish out of water, tall elves. I remember thinking at the time how clever it was that, oh my god, the elves are not short, they're really tall, like what? But now, I don't know. It doesn't seem that groundbreaking to me. Maybe that's just because I'm no longer a child. Also, the weather man, the meteorologist, who is played by Peter Scolari, the same dad from the series Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, he's reporting the weather, but gets proven wrong when someone tells him that it's suddenly snowing outside, which he claims is an impossibility, even though, you know, it's definitely happened in Los Angeles before. Probably not as much as we'll see in this movie, granted, but he still looks like an idiot being like, there has never, nor will there ever be snow in this part of the country. It's like, well, that's not true, and that's not true, so do your homework, baby boy. But after this embarrassment, he's back at his office trying to figure out how this could have happened.
Snow indeed. Storm started somewhere. I'm gonna figure out where.
Well, good, because that's basically what being a meteorologist is. I mean, hopefully you already knew that, but we just saw you melting the snow in hot toilet water to solve the mystery. So it kind of feels like you're still trying to narrow down what sort of data would even be relevant to tracking the weather. We already know that it's made out of frozen water. Now tell us what direction the wind is gonna blow it. This year, my ultimate Christmas present is going to be the one that I plan to give to myself, which is more time to relax, and that means not spending too much time in the kitchen, and thankfully I don't have to, thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Every Plate. You know how much I love Every Plate. On top of saving time, it also saves money, which is another goal of mine during the holidays. Every Plate is America's best value meal kit, and it's even 25% less expensive than grocery shopping. With another $25 in my pocket, do you know what sort of Christmas gifts I can buy for myself? Before Every Plate, I just assumed assumed all meal kits were expensive, and many of them are, but now I can see the very smart way that Every Plate gets me the same fresh ingredients at a much better price. So Every Plate ingredients being pre-portioned is something that I'm very grateful for. Don't like seeing rotting food in the fridge. Your Every Plate box will come with high quality produce and ingredients, along with a 6-step recipe that comes together in about 30 minutes, and you can choose between a rotating list of 25 meals per week. I have so much fun cooking my Every Plate meals, and it's also fun watching my dog Toast get more and more comfortable in the kitchen. She used to hide in the hallway looking at me crazy, but now she's in the mix eating little peas off the floor. Get started with Every Plate for just $1.49 per meal on your first box by going to everyplate.com and entering code DiRamio149. So this meteorologist, Edwin Hadley, gets called into like the big boss's office, and this guy, you know, is like a typical TV producer, and he's like, I would have fired you already because you're the most boring weatherman on earth, but you're married to my sister, so this is your last chance to give us the news that people want to hear. Go out there and figure out, will the Backstreet Boys concert be canceled? How is Brad Pitt getting to his movie set? And I'm just like, well, those all seem like non-meteorological things. Couldn't you send an actual journalist? Also, yes, the concert's canceled, and Brad Pitt is taking a car. Those don't seem like enough to make news stories out of. But it does send Edwin on his way out of the house, more determined than ever to find the scoop behind this mysterious storm, because he's suspicious of its origins for some reason. Like, he's like, there's no way. And I'd be like, you know, they've been talking about global warming since the 80s. The colds are gonna get colder. A tense moment that was much more effective as a child is when Allie is watching the next day to see if her plan has worked and school has been canceled. After a brief moment of suspense because the news anchor skipped over her school's name on accident, she gets the good news, and her and Sam and her brother run outside and have a really fun snow day. They're sledding. Those 4 convertible adults have ruined the interior of their car by allowing it to fill with snow, and they're making snow angels while screaming into the sky. You know, just kid things. Also, it looks like Allie comes dangerously close to impaling Sam with a gardening shovel. Meanwhile, investigating at the house, the elves and Santa discover one of Allie's footprints under a trash can in the snow. Allie's mom is still running up that phone bill, talking to the dad, who has said, oh, sorry, my flight was delayed because the snow is here in San Francisco as well. The always tech-focused Crumpet and Sparky are trying to use the computer to figure out what type of shoe it was that made the footprint, but Santa, he knows it all from delivering these toys to thousands and billions of kids every year. Shoes are toys now.
This program we put together, for lack of a better word, Santa, fantastic.
Well, hopefully there's no lack of a worse word, because I need something far more negative to describe the paint job on that pointy prosthetic ear of yours. What in the white Christmas did they glue to his head? Is the makeup artist doing touch-ups with a powdered mini donut? Ignoring all of the technology, Santa deduces that there are only 400 size 7 girls that he brought that shoe to in Los Angeles that are also on the naughty list, because a nice girl would never. And so begins this sequence where they go and visit all of the Los Angeles naughty girls and scare them.
Hey, Tina, got a minute? Yo, Jennifer, what's up?
Hi, Georgie.
If I had to choose the part of this movie that I think aged the most poorly, it's probably when Santa and his goons descend upon all of the naughty girls in town and corner them so they can be intimidated into giving answers. All while Secret Agent Man plays in the background. Like, what kind of secret agent is questioning children? That's more like something a school teacher would do. Anyway, the song was removed if you watch this on Disney Plus due to copyright, but that still doesn't address the uncomfortable power dynamic of these tall men scaring little girls and asking them where their stolen shit is. I would be traumatized for years if someone accosted me in public like this.
Secret agent man, secret.
Hello, Mary Jo.
Wow, cool special effect. At least it probably could have been back before television was converted to widescreen, because Santa is fully visible on the right before the smoke bomb goes off, covering his nose. All three girls we see being questioned are assuring Santa and Dopey and Smokey that they did not have anything to do with this stolen thing. I don't know if they like wipe everyone's memories after and questioning them, or if these 13-year-olds now just like know Santa exists. Regardless, right as Samantha's getting picked up to go home, Allie's mom gets a call from her dad that their flight has been canceled and now he may very well not be able to get home until late Christmas Eve, if at all. Sam pretends she forgot her hat so the two girls can run upstairs and quickly turn off the machines in hopes that this can undo the risk of Allie's dad not being home for the holidays. Because as a child, having your dad stuck in another city on Christmas Day is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Except for maybe one thing. Sam, can you remind us?
I think I don't want my father home for Christmas. How awful would that be? Can you imagine how much we'd all miss him?
Yeah, I think I can.
Oh.
Oh, Sam, I'm so sorry. Your character was so flat for the first half of the film that I completely forgot how dead your father is. We can talk about it if you want. Do you ever feel like it should have been you? Does your mom cry on his birthday every year? You know what? It doesn't have to be an interview format. I'll just let you talk in an unstructured way. Try to hit on those topics, though. Although she was 3 when her dad died, she knows that he loved Christmas more than any other time of year. And as she's telling this story, Allie's like, cool, I have a better one about my parents who are still alive, and therefore it's more relevant, don't you think? Okay.
My mom has this charm bracelet that my dad gave her. Every year he gives her a new charm for it, and she always knows she's gonna get it, but she still acts all surprised and gets weepy and emotional.
Sam knows all about getting weepy and emotional. That's what happens when the director yells cut, someone comes over and puts a few drops of Visine in your eyes, and then the director yells action again. Voila! Extremely sudden and incredibly large teardrops. Just in time for Dead Dad Christmas. I'm obsessed with Brenda Song, and it's been cool to watch her kind of acting improve as she aged up from this very young age through teenage years like Wendy Wu, which we've covered, into her adulthood, where we see her now. The movie is always going back to show that the weatherman is on TV being a fool, and Allie's mom comes into the living room, and the kids have made a beautiful impromptu Christmas tree out of a potted cactus plant because they wanted to have something to decorate in case their dad got home from Christmas too late for them to get a Christmas tree. The parents are also in a bind because both kids have a special present they want, roller skates and a computer game that they for some reason waited until 3 days before Christmas to start thinking about, and now they can't go out and get it. But regardless, I did think this was an effective emotional moment when the kids and their mom start roasting marshmallows and talk about how much they miss their dad and hope that he's home. So it's like, I feel the emotional stakes of the dad not being home from Christmas are well established within the story that's been set up here. And as a kid, I always felt terrified that my mom wouldn't make it home on Christmas Eve if she was at work. Like, I thought, like, she's gonna get in a car accident. I would be praying all day. Clearly, I had anxiety. Not like now, but hopefully the worst is over. They did shut off the machine, except for some reason, it turns itself back on the windowsill while Allie is asleep. So when she wakes up the next day, it's snowing even harder and storming even more than ever before. And Allie sees that this problem is not just affecting her family, but like Sam's mom has to go into the hospital driving through this crazy snow because so many other people couldn't make it to work because they're snowed in. At this point, Edwin has completely narrowed down through snowfall height where the storm has started, and he's off to go investigate that address. That's right, he's coming right to your door, Allie. You better hide your stolen property. Allie's mom gets off the phone and delivers the bad news that Dad won't be home for Christmas. It's just not gonna happen. All the flights are canceled. Both Joey and Allie are completely heartbroken over this, with Allie brought to tears while she looks at that charm bracelet that her dad adds to every year and realizing that, wow, Christmas is basically ruined because of her. I know this wouldn't be as easy to explain to a child, but like, you could always celebrate Christmas any other day of that vacation, right? Like, it's just the date. You can do it when your dad gets home, but whatever. The Canadian streets of Los Angeles are all but gridlocked, so Edwin totally steals somebody's snowmobile. Allie's mom continues to go crazy on that cordless phone, but this time it's because her clients are canceling their Christmas parties due to the snow. This wouldn't be such a big issue, Colleen, if you took security deposits on all of your catering orders like I told you. Joey sneaks into Allie's room and nearly gets his hand on that machine on the window box, which Allie can't figure out how to turn back off, and Joey is convinced it's his Christmas present, but she sends him out of the room, and the frustration of this situation nearly causes her and Sam to get into a big third act fight because she says Sam is too chicken to do anything when they want to like go out to the backyard and bury it underground or try to extend the wire with a coat hanger, and she's like, no, that could send the signal into space and cause an ice age. It's like, yeah, it could, but you don't know. This is all magic. So anyway, the girls decide on the burying of the machine to try to solve this problem, but mom doesn't want them to go outside, so they have to sneak, which is a pain in the because Joey, of course, tells on them, and they have to make up an excuse that, since the power just went out, which is the new kind of escalation, now they're gonna freeze to death, although they never seem to get cold or be without heat, and they also seem to have certain electricity. Regardless, Allie's like, well, I'm gonna get the emergency flashlight from the garage. And mom's like, okay, whatever.
Can I go outside too?
No.
Why not?
Joey, please.
Yeah, you better angry waddle up the stage, Spencer Breslin. There is no electricity, and your mother still has to make 20 to 40 more cordless phone calls about it. So what if a cordless phone still needs electricity to work? Your sister is 13 and still believes in Santa. Can't you let me have this? Mrs. Thompson is just frazzled and worried to pieces since her husband's not home, so she's up on the telephone talking to nobody, praying to a God that will not listen. When the girls get into the garage, they realize, someone else is in here with us. And in a moment that would cause me as a child to die of panic, they realize there are 3 grown men in there with them who grab onto their coats and prevent them from leaving. I would grab something sharp out of the nearest toolbox and just start gashing those faces. Santa, you're not leaving here with both your eyes. You're not leaving here with your heart unpunctured. It's going down. Kids are lithe. They can be scrappy. If you corner them, they're gonna scratch your eyes out.
Not so fast. You are number 263 on my Los Angeles naughty girl list.
Not to be confused with me, number 263 on his Los Angeles nasty girl list. Santa knows I'm a nasty girl, cause I will do anything for a fresh tin of peanut brittle. Come on, Santa, send me out into the barn and let all of your reindeer shit on me. Yeah, that's really how intense it gets trying to move up a spot on that list. LA nasty girls go nuts. They go nuts for that peanut brittle. Of course, Allie and Sam are pretty street smart kids, and they're not just gonna believe any older gentleman who attacks them in the dark and says their name is Santa. So Santa Claus has to use his omnipotent, godlike, and quite a bit too personal, like all-knowing powers to prove that he not only is Santa, but he also is able to see them in their most vulnerable moments.
President of Grant Junior High's Spanish Club. You brush your teeth 3 times a day, which is very good, but you seldom floss. Now, do you believe I'm Santa?
Anyone could have figured that out.
Yeah, for all she knows, you could just be an ordinary child stalker who was waiting in her garage to grab her. Doesn't automatically mean you're something scary or intimidating like Santa Claus. So that's when Santa really goes in to make these girls aware that he not only knows their shit, but he's ready to spill their shit for the whole world to hear about.
Samantha, you like to dance to Ricky Martin music and pretend you're married to him. Allie, your friends may think you have the perfect family. We both know that things aren't always the way you'd like them to be.
Damn. Seems a little unfair that Santa revealed Samantha's secret and it was just an outdated reference to Ricky Martin, but then he turns to Allie and completely annihilates her with the full weight of her existential struggle against capitalism. He said, you like to dance to popular music CDs in your bedroom, and you lie awake at night wondering what happened to the happiness you felt as a child while trying to predict what age you'll be when you die and whether it will be painful or not. Yeah, that's how Santa says Merry Christmas when you go through his trash and steal his little machines and then use it to cause a global winter. So now there's been like 8 times in this movie where there's been an uncomfortable situation of adults interacting with children in a way that they probably wouldn't show on television today just because it's not responsible. It's not teaching kids not to talk to people they don't know. But now they're gonna remind us that it's not safe even if you're a grown woman in your own house either, because the social contract and the sexism of society will pressure people into doing things that they don't want to just so no one can call them a bitch.
May I come in?
Yeah, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Is there something I can help you with?
Or is there anything I can get for you? Or anything I can say so that you leave me and my kids unharmed? Michelle seems to immediately regret her decision to let this strange man in just because he said he's the weather guy from TV. And he's like, you won spending a day with Edwin Hapley. And she's like, I didn't enter that contest. And then he keeps creeping her out with these weird questions while he's looking around trying to find out what could possibly be in this house that is the source of this inclement weather. He's like, is your husband home? Does he work for the military? Blah, 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 blah. God forbid she worked for the military as a woman, right?
Because of the storm.
Yes. What do you make of our little storm?
It's a bad storm.
Good, good. Just keep answering questions like that and he might let you live. I felt uncomfortable this whole scene. Obviously, I know he's not gonna hurt her, but it feels like he could. After listening to so many true crime podcasts over the years, it's like so many people get hurt or have gotten hurt just by opening their door to people they don't know and going against, you know, what their better judgment says. Apparently, we didn't care about that 23 years ago because Disney Channel said, whether you're a kid or a grown-up, talking to strangers and letting them into your home is a fun, harmless part of any holiday adventure. So when someone's acting strange towards you, remember to ignore your survival instincts in favor of being polite. And may God have mercy on your soul. Only on Disney Channel. Bow, 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 bow. Michelle, the mom, gets distracted from the weird guy in her home with her children when she's called away by her all-knowing universal God, the phone. Neither that should be working, nor the tree lights should be shining because the power is out. But again, I can't police what parts of their house have battery backups or generators. Apparently the phone, that makes sense. She loves it. And the tree, that makes sense. The kids worship it. Back in the garage, Santa explains to everyone just why he has this weather machine and what he was planning to do with it.
Because I wanted to give people the ultimate Christmas present. A gentle, white snowfall. So pure that we would all be reminded of the magic of the season.
Wow, Santa, you're a genius. A gentle, beautiful snowfall all around the world on Christmas really will give everyone a few moments of happiness, followed by a year of dead crops and famine that would lead to a catastrophic death toll. But, you know, White Christmas. Wouldn't it make more sense if he had this machine because he needs to control the weather so that he can be sure that he's able to fly everywhere on Christmas Eve? That's what I thought I remembered the solution being, but nope. It's clear from this conundrum that this little weather machine is the most dangerous thing to have been invented since the nuclear bomb, except Santa's even more irresponsible with it since he not only lost it, but it also only exists to carry out an idea that he thought would be cute. Edwin hears some wind upstairs, so he sneaks up there while Michelle is on the phone, and when he opens the door to Allie's room, he sees Joey sitting there with the weather machine. He's clearly snuck back in and stole it, thinking it was his present. Edwin scares Joey into handing over the machine by saying, you stole that from me and you're gonna go to jail, which is just like, why are they showing all of these adult on child manipulation tactics? It's not a good thing to normalize in a child's face, whatever. When the girls and the elves and Santa need to get into the house together without mom seeing, they ring the doorbell, again, echoing back to when Allie played Ding Dong Ditch. So, you know, Sparky distracts him by ringing the doorbell. Just another third object that shouldn't work without electricity. Who could say? We don't know. Could be geothermal power. We don't know. And that's when the chase sequence begins. And they run following Edwin all around the town. He jumps on his stolen snowmobile with the weather machine, and hilarity ensues as he crashes accidentally through a full-on structural wall of the candy factory in LA, I guess, that exists. At one point they show her address and it's like in the middle of downtown, which doesn't make sense for this upscale, beautiful neighborhood, but regardless, this town has LA has everything. So he crashes through the candy factory and lands in this open vat of chocolate. And we get this kind of parody, Christmas parody of an action sequence where, you know, Sparky chasing after the guy up a ladder. He uses a candy cane to zip line on a hook. They're following footprints made of chocolate, you know. Eventually, the elves are able to detain Edwin and they get the machine back. So back inside Santa's cabin, he's trying to figure out what's wrong. And stupid Allie is like, did you check the batteries? And he's like, these are jingle-ready batteries. They last 100 years. Oh, I put in generic ones. So the thing had wonky batteries batteries and that's why it was turning on unexpectedly. Seems like that would make it so that you can't turn it on, but I get it. It's a kid's movie and I'm overthinking it, but I want to be that way. That's how I want to be. Michelle gets to have her cordless phone. I can't overthink the movie plot. That's not fair. So finally, to my great relief, because that means the third act is wrapping up, Santa is able to fix the machine and bring out the sunshine so that snow can start melting, baby. Allie's like, I'm definitely on the naughty list this year, right? And he said, yeah, but you know, it could change. You just need to be better, do better, stop f***ing around. Blake doesn't even like you like that, and you don't know how to spell the word restaurant because you don't finish your English papers. And she's like, okay, that's fair, Santa.
You can't waste all that energy and brain power on just skipping homework assignments and taking what doesn't belong to you. You have to use them for things that are responsible and unselfish.
Yeah, you need to be responsible and unselfish like Santa was when he wanted more attention for his holiday, so he invented and then lost a powerful machine capable of killing off all of the life on planet Earth through an apocalyptic series of fire tornadoes and frozen oceans. I'd be like, I'm not gonna go ahead and take behavioral advice on the right way to act from a man who's wearing this much bronzer in one layer all over his face. How is that helpful? How is that unselfish? Leave some bronzer for the rest of us, Santa. As for Edwin, he has a lot of compassion for Edwin. He's like, you just need more challenges. So what if you could go to a place where there was always weather changing and you would be able to teach people what you do who are as passionate about the weather as you are? And Edwin's like, I don't know where such a place would be. And Santa's like, well, I'll see what I can do. So the next day, it's Christmas morning. And while the kids are still sad that Dad won't be home for the 25th, they decide, let's wait to open presents until after he gets home anyway. And Mom is like, great, because I sort of didn't get you any presents. So we're gonna have to take care of that later. But then, beep, beep, guess who pulls up in a Jeep? It's Dad with his really overacted speaking. He got a ride from these cool, super tall guys at the rental car place. And then when Allie looks over, it's Sparky and Crumpet saying, don't tell anyone or we'll find you. And even though nobody got the kids shopping done, Dad does come through with the present of Yuletide tradition that we've heard and loved so much.
Being here is...
The ultimate Christmas present.
That's exactly right, Allie.
To be fair, it wasn't a great Christmas present for all of the California wildlife that froze to death this week, but whatever, wildlife doesn't celebrate Christmas, and maybe that's why Jesus chose not to save their lives. But anyway, we have no more need for Jesus and his birthday now that Santa and his weather machine have taken the throne. All hail Santa, ruler of the skies, as evidenced by the fact that he is surveilling Allie right now with an unseen drone camera, watching her and being like, good work, Allie. And that's how Allie learned that the real ultimate Christmas present was the ecosystem she destabilized along the way. Merry Comcarm! And that's all they had to unwrap on this ultimate Christmas present. Like a lot of these movies, when I rewatch them as an adult, there are facts or parts of the story that I thought were easily understood as a child because I remember knowing them, but now I feel like could have been made more clear. Like, I wanted to see more at the beginning of the movie that demonstrated just what kind of thin ice in terms of getting in trouble Allie was in. Was she gonna fail out of school? Was she grounded and that's why she wasn't gonna be able to go to the party? So she had to like kind of manipulate her way through all of these things. Maybe she's lying to one parent and doing another thing to another. Also, Santa's reason for having the sleigh, I feel like should have been more directly connected to his ability to deliver presents on Christmas. Although I did think it was clever how this movie allows even older children to be shown ambiguously believing in Santa, and it doesn't make us believe one way or the other whether Santa or your parents are the ones putting the gifts out there. I mean, for Allie, it would have been her parents, but they couldn't shop, but also she was on the naughty list, so maybe God didn't compel them to shop through Santa. Ugh, I'm not a theological person, as you can tell. I'm barely even a logical person. So what do you want? What do you want from me? Where's my cordless phone? Let me know what you thought of the ultimate Christmas present. Was this an ultimate favorite of yours growing up? Are you a young person and this is your first time hearing about it? Let me know in the comments below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more Christmas charm movies from Marmarm this month. Spoiler alert, you're getting them. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when Santa Claus is watching you take a shower listening to Ricky Martin CDs. Also, I've got merch and a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus episodes and virtual watch parties. Like this month, we'll be watching Krampus right up against Christmas Eve. It's gonna be fun. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for getting on by all the reindeer in Santa's garage with me. Ooh, chocolate that. Ooh, chocolate that. I will see you next time.